All right, bear with me on this. There's going to be a point, but I have to play this video first. Sure, I don't have the technology like most YouTubers do right now. I just do this on my phone. Um, but I do it as kind of like mental relief and for fun. And this I have to do for a reason, and we'll get to that reason as soon as we get to the point where I need to stop this video.
Happy New Year, everybody. A little belatedly, but 2024 is finally here. Scientists warned us for decades that it would start on January 1st, and yet we did nothing. Now, because of our inaction, we're having the same presidential election with the same two old men as last time.
That's funny.
Only older and samer.
That's funny.
Among the things that will happen again, no matter what we do, is the Republican primary starting with next Monday. Next Monday's Iowa caucus. The frontrunner for first loser is former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley.
First loser is funny.
Really half-assing it through this performance of YMCA.
That's also kind of funny.
Governor Haley's campaign was gaining momentum until recently when she fumbled a gotcha question from 1861. What was the cause of the United States Civil War?
Well, don't come with an easy question, right? I mean, I think the cause
It's
of the
not an
Civil
easy
War was
question.
basically how government was going to run, the freedoms and what people could and couldn't do.
Judges?
Wrong. She was right. And that brings me to why I'm making this video. She was right and wrong at the same. It's so I went on, like, as soon as that happened, I went on YouTube to leave a comment on the channel that I'm subscribed to, that I was watching, and I basically said it is possible, like everything that exists, it is possible for multiple things to be true at the same time. And I went on to explain that yes, slavery was the main root of the cause. Even people that say, oh, it was about states' rights, you have to say states' rights to do what? Own a slave. It was about slavery. But also, it was about a bunch of other things that led up to it. Like, it wasn't just a snapping point. It was about the hypocrisy of Northerners that are trying to tell Southerners what to do about slaves while still owning slaves. Because there were slaves in the North, especially in, like, Maine, Rhode Island, Connecticut, like, Illinois, like, all of those places. There were still slaves there. People owned fucking slaves. Or not Illinois, Indiana. Pennsylvania. There were plenty of northern states that still had slaves at the time. So that was kind of hypocritical for them to be attacking the South. Also, they've started to fail to use the two-state. The Congress and the Senate agreed on a two-state agreement, where for every free state, there would be a slave state that gets admitted to the Union. This is called the Bloody Kansas, because the government then said, no, we're not doing that anymore. If the people there vote for slavery, then they can have slavery. So Missouri was a slave state, but then all these Northerners rushed to Kansas to vote no, and it caused a war that, I mean, I guess you wouldn't call it a civil war, but I would, because that's like my neighbor and me, just because we live on two different sides of a line, start killing each other and setting each other's houses on fire. You know what I'm saying? That's still kind of a war, but it's definitely a civil war, but not on a national scale. It was a local scale. It's still fucked up. Then you had John Brown, that decided he would take uh, uh, justice into his own hands and march down to the South, kill people, try to start a slave uprising, and then all of the slaves were like, nah, man, there's only 5 of you. Fuck that shit. That's what smart people do. That was part of it. Um, the fact that California was immediately admitted in 1849, because I don't know if you know this, but the Civil War didn't happen until the 1860s. So California became a state in 1849. When it became a state, that pissed off the South too, because it became a state because they found gold. Or no, it became a state in 1851. I'm sorry. But that pissed off the South because they found gold so they could fund, which causes the South to still to this day go, we were fighting the North and they only had one arm tied behind their back. And it's like, if that's the truth, you better be happy about that, because if they had both arms, you wouldn't exist. Like your plan, everything would be burnt to the ground and rebuilt by the North. So that's pretty much what I posted. Like, I was arguing on both sides because that's where I stand politically. I'm in the middle. I'm a non-committal. I'm independent, but not a party independent. I'm independent of party. That's what independent used to mean until they created the independent party, which is just saying independent party like breaks my brain, and I'm like, that's a non sequitur. Like it doesn't go together. I said the wrong word, but it was a big word, so pat on the back for me. And they deleted it. And then I posted, why did you guys delete the fact that I posted facts? And that got deleted too. And I wasn't smart enough to take a screen capture. So that's why I'm making this video. Fuck Stephen Colbert. It, fuck liberal media at this point. They're like, they are trying to control thought to the T. Like, even if you present facts and say, yes, it was about slavery, it was also about a lot of these things too. Especially since I opened it up, like everything that exists, multiple things can be true at the same time. I don't like Nikki Haley. The first thing she said should have been slavery, especially since she's a politician. That should have been like slavery. And then gone, and also how the states and the government should work. And that's where I feel like she could have saved that by saying slavery. And even though people would still bitch about it because it's a Republican woman saying things, and Democrats don't like Republicans saying anything at all, let alone a Republican black person or a woman, then they get really mad about it because they're like, you're supposed to be on our side for some fucking reason. Same genitalia, same melatonin, which sounds hella racist if you put it that way. And when you think about it that way, it kind of is racist, because conservatives, they're usually like, we believe in equality. Like you're standing on an even playing field. Well, a lot of the liberal ideas are more like, we've got to give them a hand up because if we don't, they'd never make it on their own, which kind of sounds demeaning. But fuck Stephen Colbert.